Okay, last video. How do we take this into InDesign now? So first thing is, learning a little more of views. We can actually right-click on any view and duplicate. Normally you will use detailing. That will take all the annotation elements with you, if you have any. And you can rename right-clicking and call it, for example, presentation. You could have as many views as you want. For example, you could have a duplicated one with detailing here and rename it as, I don't know, construction. Or you can even duplicate and call it, legend, and incorporate a legend or something. Okay. Now the presentation one should have, like the ones we're dealing with in our panel, should have all of them a black fill for the wall and floors and roofs, both in sections and plans. So what I'm going to do is visit within graphics, go to walls, override. That allows you to change however the walls are. You can change their parameters so they're seen differently, like black, like this. You can do that for both each plan one by one by going visit within graphics, walls, changing, etc. Or what we can do is just make sure that the settings are properly set here, like right-click category. We don't want to see the section marks either. So once you're happy with one plan, you can even have an underlay if you think it's best. Like to see some detailings. Actually, underlays, that's too much complexity, so we can just keep it clean, I think. Okay, but we can now right-click and create template. I'm going to say the project there. I don't know what happened there. Okay, let me see. Create templates, right? You can call it plans presentation. Okay. So you say okay. That allows you to select the rest of the plans and right-click and apply the template you just created. So all of them will automatically embed all the conditions we were talking about. Okay, now again, I think it's best if we don't have the underlays like that. So make sure you get rid of the underlays. It's getting interesting here. It's probably not section, nice. And even 3. This is just cutting above the plan, so we're not even going to place that one. Silly plan's the same. You can go to one of them and say visit within graphics, walls, and just override the color and the fill pattern. You can say okay, and you can hide category. Again, if you're working on this one, you could duplicate it. Just rename it as presentation. No? Obviously, you should want to do that with every view. Every view you're going to place in the panel. So again, here, right-click, hide category, and we're going to do a new template. I call it ceiling presentation. Okay, we say okay. We apply to all of the views the template. Ceiling presentation. Good. If we go to the 3D, this 3D is the same as going to this one. If you happen to delete that one for whatever reason, it's kind of weird. You go there and it creates it automatically. It's default. You can go and select any of these options. That will be an axonometric view. If you don't want the walls for whatever reason, you can hide some of them. You can even hide the roof if you think it's bothering the view. Okay, you can even hide some of them to show more elements of the plan, no? So it's kind of interesting. Good. So imagine you want that one. You want to actually duplicate this one with detailing, rename, and you call it actual study 1. Now you want to duplicate this with detailing, and you can just turn on everything, and I don't know, just somehow unhiding these elements, unhide elements. So this is a clean one. You rename it. You can call it even base or something. You can duplicate another one and rename and call it Axis Study 2, for example. And you can change the angle of the study. You can also turn on what is called a section box and do a section cut here somehow, and then select the box and hide element. Now you can go to Visibility Graphics, walls, override, black, solid fill. We need to go to roofs as well, because we have roofs. I'll put it in the section right after. And we also have floors, black, solid fill. Okay, there you go. Nice, interesting. You can also, by the way, just turn on the section box again and hide elements, select it, and kind of play around with it so you get a different view. Let me see, that could be more interesting. So now you hide elements, and that could be again another interesting view that you might want to have. Okay, you can have as many axes. In the elevations, we're gonna hide always the levels. Also, we're gonna hide the sections, and we're gonna actually apply or create a new template and call it elevation presentation. Enter. Say OK, and now we can apply that to all of the elevations. Apply. Good. Last sections. Well, it's going to be the same. This box is actually the cropping region, so I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to select the levels and hide category and hide category. Again, you might have a section you want to work with, then you can duplicate. But in this case, we're going to do Visibility Graphics, walls, override the walls so they're black in solid fill. We also need roofs, because if I say yeah, okay, there the roof will be white, so Visibility Graphics, VV. I go to roofs. And solid fill. And obviously the floors are missing, no? Visibility Graphics, F floors, solid fill. Oops, forgot the color. And you could have it in any color if you want. And let's imagine for a second that in our section, we're sectioning the stair, for example here. There is. It's not cut, so we also need to change the Visibility Graphics for stairs. Change that to be black. Solid fill. Okay, and there is. If you think the stair is too thick like that, you can just change the type of the stair to be a monolithic one, so it's a bit more elegant. Nice. You could even make a fill to those sections, which is, by the way, the category it says here, so Visibility Graphics are for railing, and you cannot change the pattern, so I guess cannot do much for that. I think it's quite clear. Okay, nice. I think this is a nice and interesting section. Go to the level, just make sure the sections are seen all the way through. And let me go to that section and see if we like it or not. Let me also apply this template by right clicking and create a new template. Section presentation. Okay. I'm gonna say OK. And apply section presentation. Here, okay. Wait, I don't know. Oh, that's right. Okay, that was. There you go. So we're not seeing much, so let's try where the section is. I'm going to turn off the cropping region. Just going to go to where my sections are, and I'm going to just swap this and see if that makes more sense. Yeah, I think this is a good thing. Some other thing we could do is start joining parts, like you can join, select some elements and other ones. It gives you that kind of a connection. It's not going to be that simple for some other complex geometries, but again, you can try that, see if you get that kind of a detail. Okay, so we're ready to print. I'm going to print just one views, but you can do it for many or for a couple, so you understand the logic. It's very simple. We go to Revit, print, and you need PDF, select views. I'm going to just select for now. Let me uncheck everything, check none here. I'm going to select, for example, a plan, not that one, like this presentation one. And I'm going to select, for example, an axon, sorry, a section. Axonometric study 2, for example. Say OK. So you can save them. I'm going to say no. And in the settings, we need to set the size of the paper. This is not the size of your panel. This is how big you think each of the drawings is going to be. So it's just a reference. Say zoom 100. You want to center that. Okay. Never place fit to page because that will change the scale. And make sure it's vector processing. So Clay, you can save these from whatever. And here's important: if you had a lot of PDF documents and you want them to be combined into one document with multiple pages, that would be the option. For now, we're going to do a create separate files. I'm going to say OK. It's asking me, yeah, well, no problem. And I'm going to just create another folder with drawings or documentations or whatever. Say save. It's going to start making one after the other one. I'm going to say save again and save. I think I sent 3. So this is how it looks, each of them. Let me go and check drawings. I have a preview here. There is. Okay, so this one is not centered probably because there was an element somewhere else, so be careful with that. That's very simple. Now, what scale are these? Well, this scale is exactly this element. So let's imagine take this other section 1, and I change it to be a 1/4. Okay. And let's imagine I have this axonometric study 1, and I also take it to 1/16. Okay. And I'm going to take study 1 axo and section 1, and I'm going to do the same. Print, blah, 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 the same things. Everything's going to be saved. Check none. I'm going to select the section 1 and the axonometric 1, 2. Say OK. It's going to ask me if I want to save it. Make sure everything is correct. Yeah. Say OK. And I'm going to place them here. It asked me 2 times. And just noticed my folder. Notice that it is entirely a different size. So actually this is a 1/16, is smaller than that one. So you start getting the idea. The axes you can pretty much scale afterwards in your panel, but probably the plans you should never actually scale them. So this is now section 1 compared to section 2, 2 different scales. So now you know the scales because Revit is telling you directly. So how does this work now? InDesign, File, Place. Drawings, and for you to understand the scale is I'm going to select these 2, open, and without clicking 2 times, just 1 and 1. This is exactly the way you should place your section. Again, these elements could go outside. just a reference for you. And these are the sections at the given scale. So you decide what scale you want to deal with, and you know how you want to deal with them in terms of composition. They don't look bad. It's just that, you know, they're low resolution visibility, so you can say high quality, and as you can see, it looks crispy and professional. Okay, so it's a matter of start business here and bring in all those sections, all those plans, several axonometrics. We will talk about other solar analyses, like section cuts, section axos, etc., etc. So one by one, at a given scale, you're gonna start bringing them here properly. Okay, so that's it. This is the last video, so hope you get a hold of the whole process.